Right, yes, hi all, welcome. So these shoes here have just arrived via FedEx from America. Now these actually got held up in customs about a week ago, and they actually get sent through a text message saying that basically there's an import fee of something like £500, which obviously is extortionate sort of thing. The reason that is because fair play, to the guy, but when he sent them through, I said to make sure you send them as repair. That's the first thing. Always send them through as repair, and obviously you need to add a value accordingly, sort of thing. Now I didn't expect there to be 2 shoes in the box, but when he sent them through as values as 2,000, and obviously the repair aspect was mentioned but wasn't sort of taken into consideration, hence why there's a £500 import fee. Now I'm guessing that the owner hasn't paid for that. He hasn't let me know, but I'm guessing he hasn't paid. And they've just arrived today, so I'm guessing he probably emailed them and said, it's a repair, they're coming back to America, and they presumably hopefully flagged the import fee. Anyway, here's the shoes here, so that's just something to be aware of, when you're sending stuff across. So open these beauties up, let's have a quick look. I've not looked at these properly, I've literally opened the box a moment ago. Okay, so boom, we have a pair of shoes, obviously version 4 auto laces. Checking, obviously they've been worn, they're fairly, they're obviously fairly old, I would say, because that is well yellowed, that is. And these have also, I can see these as well have yellowed, and certainly indoors, and I had a really quick look a moment ago by opening the box, I can see they're quite yellowed. But yeah, certainly a used pair, but that is very yellow. Switch it on, nothing at all on there. Check the motor, nothing on the laces. It could be the batteries are flat potentially, but the other thing, the key critical thing, is the fact that the laces have all come loose. Well, 3 of those laces have come off the mechanism, which isn't good, because the mechanism is, you'll see my prior videos there, it's obviously right on the base, you have to undo all of the inner parts there. It's obviously the most tricky part to get to, particularly if you're planning on wearing the shoes. It's very difficult to put it back together again in a sort of state where you can wear the shoes, because you don't want to sort of glue everything back together again and make it rock solid, because then when the battery dies, which is in the middle of the shoe, if everything is rock solid, then you can't get to the battery. So you kind of have to put it back together again, but ideally not glue it, I would suggest. But yes, all those laces apart from that one there are out. One of those 2 laces there is the control lace, so hopefully it's this one here, but either way it's a big problem. And the fact that they're completely dead as well, but it could be that they just need a good old charge. So that's that one there. Otherwise, actually, condition wise, it's also got a bit of creasing and stuff on here where it's been worn. Some marks here and here, etc. Otherwise, some sort of scuffing and stuff around here. A few scuffs on the back. Otherwise, a bit of wear and tear inside there, but otherwise it's looking pretty sweet. I like to have a quick look at these, because obviously these are very expensive shoes, that's all. The other one, instantly see that the lace is mullered. It's being tagged here. I'd be interested to know if that's tagged by FedEx, or if that's the owner put that in, but either way that's an interesting one there. That's not loose, so those 3 aren't loose. This one here is completely loose. Hopefully it's not snapped, but who knows. You never know, actually. Very yellowed again, lots of marks and paint, if you can see that on the camera around here. And see, I like to do that so that we know they're going to go back in the same condition and hopefully fixed. Some damage and bits and bobs on here. There's a hole in the bottom there with potentially sort of stood a nail or something. Some wear and tear on the nose, but it's nice that people are actually wearing these shoes, to be fair. It's bloody rare to find someone who actually wears these shoes. Pretty good otherwise. But yeah, otherwise, electronic wise, there's nothing on there and nothing on the auto laces. Okay. But there we go. But anyway, not bad at all, but it's nice to see a used pair. So yeah, the plan is for these, as I need to get these open. Well, so I get on charge first of all, see if there's any life in them, and then open them up and see what the issue is. Nice one. And actually, just a really quick follow-up, actually. Now I've obviously brought them inside and I can see in daylight, you can actually see they're actually very dirty. It's no problem at all. It's purely just to highlight that. But I don't know if you can see that, but yeah, they've got a lot of dirt on there, on the tongue part, but mainly if you can see that, which you probably can actually on the footage, like marks here, a lot of dirt around here. So just wanted to point all this out. Again, this one here, you can see there's a lot of dirt, primarily around this section here, around here. You know, so again, these shoes, if they can be got working, you know, if the owner was bothered, like, you know, greatly bothered, they obviously could give them a careful sort of scrub, basically, with some sort of just like dishwasher detergent, effectively, or sort of gentle fabric cleaner. Okay, that's cool. Anyway, they're on charge, as you can see. This one is sort of charging normally. This one here on the right hand side took a little while for it to sort of like boot up, as it were, to start flickering. But I guess it's getting some juice into cells now. But I'd imagine for a start, it's probably got knackered batteries and obviously the auto lace faults as well. It's a shame to have both, but yeah, let's go from there. Right, yes, I also left hand side shoe. So what I've done is I've used the releasing agent here, which is basically this. You basically sort of squirt it skillfully, obviously, around the edge here, and then basically just work it loose with a large clean screwdriver. So this area here, where it's dark, should obviously evaporate, and hopefully it should leave us with the same grey material plus minimal damage. Obviously, when you pull it here, things stretch as they would do, because of course it's glued on, and it's, you know, the material's deteriorated, etc., to a degree because of the glue and the adhesives and all that sort of stuff. So opening this up, it looks like someone's possibly been in here before, because the glue on there on the end isn't normal. There was also, I found here, so you see that disconnected terminal, but by the way, I've disconnected the battery. I couldn't tell how bad it was, but obviously I saw that mess of a wire there. That was just wedged down there, so obviously I disconnected that. But that's hanging on for dear life, and who knows if it's even if the negative's touching the positive, who knows. Next up is this mess here. So I can see here there's potentially what looks like masking tape over the top of some damaged wires, because you can see pieces of the gold wire there, and other pieces sticking out. So I'm kind of expecting in a minute, once I remove this tape really carefully, to potentially have a black and a red wire with damage on. And these could be, bear in mind these are thicker wires than normal, these could be the wires going to the motor, which on this shoe here, just to confirm, the motor doesn't work. So the lace is loose, the motor doesn't do anything at all, but the lights do work. Okay, right, let me take off that tape then, we'll see what we've got. Right then, yes, so basically the person who had these before, the current owner, absolutely had a fault, and they've taken this cover off, and then they've done a bad repair to it. So you can see here that I'd imagine, see these two wires at the top, imagine that they're much longer, and they would have come out of this hole here originally. These are two of the switch wires for the motor, and obviously they probably short-circuited and burned, hence why they're very short. So what the person's done is they've cut this hole here really, really badly into the shoe in order to get to what they could of the wire, which obviously was quite short. And then they pulled the wire just through the top here, giving us these tiny little lengths of wire. So and then they twisted them together and then wrapped them in bloody tape, which is awful. And they didn't even bother repairing the wire on that panel down there either. So I'm not saying that this is going to be the fault, sorry, this is going to be the fix, but it certainly needs to be fixed to go from there. So what I'm going to do tomorrow is I'm going to have to lengthen these wires, obviously, because obviously they go straight around up to the switch, and I don't want to take the whole shoe apart, absolutely. So I'll have to do what I can in order to be able to lengthen these wires, and then I can route them back around here with a nice bit of length to them, obviously heat shrink them. Then I can then solder them properly to the black and white, so black and red wires here, so it's all connected. And I know for a fact that that is the motor wire, because I've just tested it with the voltmeter. When you press it, it obviously gives you continuity. So yes, that is to do with the fault. So we'll do that, connect it up, see how it goes. I have to try to connect the wires straight together, and they do nothing. There is 3 volts on it, but they do nothing. So this obviously needs to be fixed so that they can be operated from the switch, but it's still not the fault. There is still a further fault with the motor, because when you touch those together, they should operate the motor, but it's not. Okay, and so the battery's on now as well. We'll just reconnect it up. So yeah, cool. And there's a quick look at the inside. There we go. So these are the auto laces. Cool, okay, still lots of work though. Right, yep, hi all, welcome. So yes, the left shoe, it's not repairable. So I've done a very, very good deep dive into this shoe, and ultimately I've had to remove some of the plastic here, if you can see this. There is it. Ultimately, see, the negative has broken off the motor, which is just there. And there should be a tiny little contact just there on the opposite side of the positive, and there's literally no contact there at all. So it's completely gone, completely disintegrated, and there's a big lump of solder on the wire. There's obviously part of the contact on there, but the actual main part of the contact is completely gone. And if you compare the shoe, this one here, to this one here has actually had extremely nice, you can see there, just actually one of them. It's got both terminals there. It's got extremely nice, neat, gentle wiring on it. You can see the one there and one just there. Whereas this one here, you can see that an engineer who's assembled this has obviously got no skill at soldering because they've cooked it. Big blob of solder there, ginormous blob of solder there as well. It should be tiny little blobs of solder as per that shoe. So in order to be able to get this motor out, to swap this motor, which you'd need to do, you would have to take out the entire mechanism with the gearbox and the entire auto lace mechanism just here. Let me just focus it. You have to take that entire mechanism and the entire auto lace mechanism, and the only way to get that out is to take apart the whole shoe. So you'd have to take apart this grey part off the shoe. That's how they assemble. That's how they create the shoes. You know, they make the base first with electronics in. Then they put the top part on. Then they feed the loom. Then they feed the loom through. Then they solder the loom at the back. Then they seal it up. So unfortunately, this shoe here is toast. So it can still be used for the LED for the lights. So I'll reassemble it back together again, nice and neat. Put the battery back in, etc., etc. But it's done. And obviously with the laces, you can't do anything with the laces. You can't force the mechanism round. So unfortunately for Stanley, the owner, he's going to just have to use it, either sell them, you know, as faulty shoes, or wear them as they are with the light, which is what I would do, and leave the laces open, unfortunately. So that's that one there. This one here we'll come to on a separate video. So this one here does actually work in terms of the motor spins, but obviously all of the laces have come undone. So it's a bit of a disaster, but the lights do work as well on that one. So I'd imagine I'll be able to get the laces back in for this, but the problem is why did the laces come out in the first place? But anyway, that's going to be on video 2, that particular one there is. But for now, this one here, I'm going to close it off now. I'm going to reassemble it, talk to the owner, and then, yep, this one is cooked. Damn.